Hey everyone, how are you? Thank you, first and foremost, again, as I will always pretty much say every single time I join you guys. I appreciate you guys being part of this whole entire project that I'm involving myself in, and maybe with some others in the future. But okay. A couple of things that I just want to mention before I get started. Number one, expect something in the next couple of days for you guys, especially, and spread the word, because I really want to share this with some of you. I'm working on something where the next 50 patrons will get some type of a little gift. Not the type of gift that Claudia is going to get. And I want to send her a quick shout out. She's my number one. She's my first. She's the one that I really have already near and dear to my heart. So thank you so much, Claudia. You're going to get something special yourself. Don't worry about it. But that was something that's only for the first patron. That's pretty much what she was able to get. So I want to thank her first and foremost. Okay, let me get started with this as far as the analysis of last night's match. Drinking my mushroom coffee. I just want to make sure, just a little zinc mushroom coffee. I'll have something up there for you guys if you want to. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send you the name of the thing. It's really cool. The match I didn't see the Colombia US match in its entirety. I got to see it in a bridge version that Univision showed late night, and there was some notes here that I took. And obviously, I didn't see certain stretches because I was on the air doing another match at that time. So one of the things, and I'll start with the U.S. first. Thank goodness Dave Zarakan is an interim coach, because it would be very preoccupying to see him as a full-time coach. Obviously, think of the school of thought that he comes from. Bruce Arena, very, I don't know. I really don't know what Bruce Arena plays as a football coach. I don't know what Zarakan can offer you as a coach at this stage of the game. Serviceable. He's been able to fill the position. That's pretty much as much as I'm going to go and really get into. Thank goodness the U.S. do have McKinney. They have Weston McKinney. They have Tyler Adams. They have Christian Pulisic. They have Tim Weah. They have those types of players that can make a difference in their respective sectors of the pitch, because some of the players that were on yesterday just don't fit the bill. They can come in and be serviceable in certain instances. John Brooks can be serviceable in certain instances, but man, the guy just doesn't know how to defend space. And it was very apparent, especially with James Rodriguez's goal. I mean, it was otherworldly, but still, as a defender, you need to know how to position yourself in those types of situations. The U.S., as far as defense, at times it was just haphazard. They really weren't marking too aggressively, or at least in a way that you're more accustomed to seeing previous U.S. national teams. And I think that's the most worrying thing about what I saw. That intensity needs to pick up, because you can have all the players that I just mentioned, and I think, I didn't mention Josh Sargent. I did mention Pulisic, and thank God Pulisic is playing for the U.S. and he's not playing for Croatia, which he could have, and I don't know if he'd be starting right now, but I think he would have a shot to be. He would have been on that World Cup squad for sure. That's how good I think he is. But overall, this is a team that has some young, interesting prospects. But the ones that did not play, boy, their absence was definitely shown. That was very evident. Defensively, there was just a lot to be desired. And the passes, Colombia really had them as far as the way that they were able to beat them in several aspects of the game, and in several movements, especially going down the wing, going down the right, especially with Santiago Arias, who was sensational for Colombia just last night. Real good work that he did on that side, as far as his marking, as far as his backtracking, as far as going on the attack as well. Just probably, you could say, over the past year and change, Santiago Arias has probably been the most solid defender for Colombia at the national team level. What else was I going to say? Now, saying that about the U.S. national team, the most important thing is to really put these players in a situation where they can do what they did during that 3-minute stretch, where they really put Colombia up against it. They really put them in a very complicated situation, pressured in the middle, created opportunities, who's going to be that coach that's going to do that? Because to be honest with you, and this is not to sound nationalistic or anything, it's just I don't see an American coach that's qualified. I just don't. I don't see an American coach that's qualified, or I should rephrase that. I don't see an American coach that's qualified for what people expect them to do, which is take the next step forward. Now, that being said, the next step forward is one step forward after taking 2, maybe 3 steps back over the past year. That's what we really have to keep in mind. Not qualifying for the World Cup, although some in the media saying, well, it wasn't affected. We didn't get affected that much. Bruce Arena said that. Dave Sarakin said, it didn't affect us that much. So what? We didn't qualify for the World Cup, so what? No. It did affect the process. It did affect the program. It does affect a lot of things. But now the coach stepping in, what's he going to do? Mind you, you do have a strong enough squad to get through. I mean, there's no excuse. Now if they don't make it to 2022, then there is a big problem. And you could paper the crack as much as you want. The problem is, what are you going to get with the results? And I think this is a good thing that the U.S. lost 4-2. Because let's say they would have drawn, or they would have been able to get a victory. How would that have been portrayed within the media as well? And that's something that people need to also look at it in the overall grand scheme of things. They need to look at how these specific results, especially in friendlies, have been portrayed, not just now, but over the past 12, 13, 14, 15 years, if you want to. Oh, we beat Italy in Italy. So what? Italy never really plays their friendlies seriously. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Some of the rivals just looked at what certain players could do. They're looking at certain functionalities within their scheme. And to give that much heed to a friendly match, then you have to start looking at certain things. And speaking of functionality, if there was, defensively for the U.S., it's just bad. It's just bad when you don't have a player like Weston McKennie. That's just plain and simple. If you start to see what this specific situation on defense, especially with DeAndre Yedlin, who can go on the attack, he can run like the wind. He can run. He's fast, speed, pace, run. Perfect. But the problem with him is running back, defending. That's his big problem. That's always been his big problem. If you can find within a scheme something that really fortifies him on the attack and protects him, at his back, then you'll have something interesting. Colombia. I don't want to waste too much time because I don't want to bore you. James is a spark when his head's right and when he's at 100% physically. You saw it yesterday. You saw what he can do with the ball at his feet. You saw what he can do when you have defenders that are pretty much cones, or sometimes defenders that can actually defend halfway decently. Him, Quintero as well, stuff that Quintero's doing right now, and it's so good. It's so refreshing to see him coming back after having a series of loans and kind of wandering in another world of nothingness as far as his footballing career was, getting back to River Plate and really getting his head right. And that's been even maybe about a year or so ago when he was at Medellin, kind of like getting his head right again. But it's been since he got to River Plate with Marcelo Gallardo that he's really been able to assert himself again. And hey, he has a $23 million buyout clause for River Plate. So it looks like he's going to Europe again, and I can't be happier for a great player. Him, Carlos Bacca, Falcao, Cuadrado, all of those players had very good games. They really showed why Colombia can be a top team, and why they can be a squad that is very hard to stop when all those pieces are working and they're fitting properly. And it breaks my heart to say it, but seeing how broken down Colombia were during the World Cup, it makes you think what might have been if they would have been healthy, if James Rodriguez would have been healthy, if Edwin Cardona would have been in the mix, if you had other players that were at 100%, how far that team would have gone. And that is kind of something that I feel sad for. Two things. David Ospina needs competition. He needs competition with the goalkeeping position. and you're not going to find it because the latest crop of goalkeepers, maybe the crop of goalkeepers that have come out in the past decade, really haven't been the most assertive. Remember, David Ospina has been around almost now, going 2006, almost 15 years, or not 15, excuse me, 2006, about 12 years as the starting goalkeeper for Colombia. Since he was 18, 19 years old, he's been the lone goalkeeper in the past 15 years for the Colombian national team. That really has been quality. Outside of that, there's a significant drop-off in that position. You need to start looking at how to develop goalkeepers in Colombia, because Ospina does have those propensities at times to break down. The biggest worry for Colombia, though, is in the midfield. Mateus Uribe is struggling, and it shows in his form. The 2 goals that the U.S. scored were on him because of where he loses the ball and how he loses the ball on those 2 opportunities. That's probably one of the few negatives you're going to find in Colombia's play last night. That's pretty much what you're going to do. And number 2, who's going to replace Carlos Sanchez? I think that's going to be Wilmar Barrios, the midfielder from Boca Juniors. And to see him have that opportunity, I think is going to be important. And he's grooming himself into that position, although he might have a little bit more dynamic going forward than Sanchez. Sanchez can be essentially a third central defender if need be, but Wilmar Barrios can play a bit more of a hybrid position compared to Sanchez. So overall, that's pretty much how I saw the match, and looking forward to see what Colombia can do against the Costa Rica side that really gave a young Mexico side all they could handle, and looking forward to see what the U.S. do with Peru. And I won't be at the match. I have commentary actually tonight, 2 matches that I have to do commentary for CONCACAF Nations League, so I won't be at the Peru-Chile match. I feel kind of bad for it because it is going to be a very interesting environment, to say the least, between Chileans and Peruvians. It's not going to be as intense as the rivalry. If the rivalry would be played in Peru or Chile, I think it would be a different context. Here in South Florida, I think it's going to be a much more enjoyable, much more festive atmosphere than anything else. And I look forward to that, albeit from far away. So, guys, thank you again. And look to be doing these on a daily basis. And, oh, by the way, make sure I'm going to be putting out in the next day or so a translation of this is only for you guys, for you guys here at Patreon. It's going to be a translation of Pep Guardiola and Fernando Trueba, both having like a, I guess, crossfire, if you will. They're asking each other questions, having an interview. It was a great feature that was done a couple of years ago over at Sabadell. It was part of a series, a leadership series that they did, and it was interesting to have both an Oscar-winning director and a Champions League winning coach, multi-title winning coach in Pep Guardiola, talking about things in their respective careers and how they kind of overlapped as far as interests, as far as likes. It's a really interesting interview. I'll have that video up, but I will also have the text translated of what they're talking about. So I look forward to bringing that type of content for you guys. Make sure you spread the word, man, because I really would appreciate it. I already appreciate the fact that you guys are here with me, and hope that I can start giving you even more type of content and bringing in more people and just inundating you in a good sense as far as the type of content that we can offer you here at The Normal Juan. So again, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you guys, and talk to you soon. Peace.